Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Mana Salapi, it is said that everything is possible in paradise. Our today's journey will begin with a question where we had talked about Surah-e Nur, and then there are amongst you who have Nur, and there is a lamp in the niche. Then the question is, where is this home in which there is a niche and there is a lamp? And then the parables and examples of the light of God amongst us. And our subject today starts from there. This will be our session 18th in this series of lectures. May Rabbul Izzat be happy with us, and may his Nur shine on us. May his guidance be with us, and may we walk with the principle of Sabiqun and Sari'un on the Sirat al-Mustaqim with the guidance of Thee. Inshallah. Ameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Part 18, the first surah we have, or the ayat, which is the ayat right after Ayah Misbah from the Surah-e Nur 24. And Allah says at the end of the ayat 35 that Allah sets forth parables for mankind. And Allah is all knower of everything. Allah sets this parable not to hide nor to misguide, but for the mindful, for the believers, and for the readers. And who amongst us can say that Allah have not guided the human? Allah has not guided the readers of the Quran. Only if we are mindful of it, only if we think about it, and only if we understand the examples which are given in the Quran. It must represent a concept to us when we read the Quran. The certain words must represent a concept to us. Ayat number 36. Allah's Nur, His light, shines in houses which God has permitted to be raised, and that His name be remembered therein. In them He is glorified in the morning and the evening. Let's reflect on this ayat for a second. Ayats before this, Allah talks about how the example of the nur of His is the example of a lamp. And that lamp, that nur of the lamp shines in houses. And we had understood that Allah does not give example of His nur from the largest body of source of light, the sun. Neither He gives the example of a moon, whereas moon receives the light from the sun. But He gives the example of His nur from a lamp. And we understood the tawil of that was the lamp you can touch. You can bring it home. You can use as you need. You can light another lamp, and another lamp with one lamp. Whereas with the sun, you cannot reach, touch, or bring it home. Allah is giving us a clear example of how close His nur is to you. How close that you do not even have to leave your home. It is inside your home, within your reach. Within your reach. But this light which Allah has given to the Momin, to the believers, to the Sabiqun and Sari'un, those who have taken lead, and those who are mindful and have run toward and have come close to this light. He has given to them by His Amr. Not that we have taken the light, He has given that light to us. We have no right over this light. We cannot just take it. It must be given. And He gives His light by His Amr. He permits us, give us the permission to take this light and raise this light in the home. We still, after Tawil, are speaking with the examples and the veil upon veil upon veil of the Nur of Allah. We must remember there are Batin of the Batin and then more Batin of the Batin. And we must remember that. So we do not stop at the example, but try to understand the deeper Tawili meaning of it. And the homes which has been given light by the permission of Allah, then they must raise, call upon, make their home purified for themselves and open their homes for others, so they may also join you and you may share your light with them. And you may become the source of the light of Allah for the humanity, for the others. So once you have the light, then Allah has given you the permission to raise His name and remember Him therein. And you should do so always, morning and evening, always. We still are wondering, where are these homes? Who are the homeowners of these homes? How will they have the light and how will they share this light with others? Fair enough, good thinking and good questions. Let's come to this ayat and some of the detail understanding from the book Chirag-e Roshan, written by Allama Sahib, English translated by Fakir Sahib as Luminous Lamp. And in English, page number are 12 and 13, where he speaks about this light. And let's see what can we learn and understand about these homes and about these lamps and the light of Allah. And remember, if we still don't, there will always be time and a chance to ask question. So he writes regarding ayat number 36, the words following the lamp words, ayah Mizbah number 35, with its implication in brackets is as follows. The lamp, the Nur, is lit in houses which Allah has permitted to be exalted. Houses which Allah has permitted to be exalted, and His name to be remembered therein. His tasbih, glorification, is recited therein in the morning and in the evening. This verse has at least two wisdoms, two tawil. One, the first one, in the physical houses of prophets, imams, and Momin is lit the Tawilic lamp of the lamp verse. And I will come back and explain this. Because they are exalted due to the divine remembrance, as the tasbih of God is recited therein morning and the evening. So the first tawil is because above mentioned the Natikin, the Nabiin, the prophets, Imai Tyrene, and those Momine Salikin were Abidin, were Arifin, as they have purified their homes with the remembrance, correction, divine remembrance of Allah in their home and within their hearts and within their themselves and within their minds, as they have exalted the homes, may it be a physical outside or personal home within themselves, in their heart and minds. There they remember him always, 24-hour, morning and the evening. And due to that, a Tawilic lamp, not a physical lamp, not a lamp made with clay, but a Tawilic lamp, wisdomful Nur, has been lit. The wisdom and the Nur, the hand of Allah now have touched those purified ones. And as Allah have touched their heart, a nur, a light, and enlightenment have come into them and around them. Into them, within them. Around them, within their homes. Emphasize on the homes. Look at when Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was touched by this lamp, the Nur-e Ilahi, due to the remembrance for years and years. Now, even in his home, there were 5 living Panchtane Pak, not only in himself, but around him was Nur, 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 and Nur. Panchtan Pak. Second, Tawil and wisdom in this verse. In the light of the teaching and guidance of the Prophet and Imam, Momins can kindle the lamp of divine light in their inner house, that is, heart. And I'll come back and explain this. It is because of this that God has compared His holy light with a lamp in a house instead of comparing it with the world illumining sun. For allusions such as knowledge, practice, and devotion, which are in the lamp, where one where are they in the sun? Question. You will not find that in the sun. That is, in order to build a sacred house in the heart and to kindle a lamp in the niche of its wall, one needs to starve hard, work hard, seek hard. Then there are the allusions of the vessel of lamp, oil, pure oil, wick, fire, flame, smoke, spread light, and kindling of one lamp from the another to observe and reflect on for the recognition of the perfect man, which do not exist in the sun. Understanding of this. As we understand, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala had appointed and selected few amongst us and Sardarul Anbiya, Nabi Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He came with the Nur and the book to light and to guide. Remember these two parts. He came with the Nur and the book to light, to show the path, and to guide, to teach us how to walk on that path. And after him, Aimai Tyreen and Silsilae Noor-e Imamat, in the chain of the light of the Imams. This light, heart to heart, from the Pashtun Pak to the Imams after Imams after Imams, was lit from one lamp to the other. And even that is an example from the Imam to the Sabiqun, the leading Momin, this Nur was lit. So from Allah, the Nur came to Muhammad Mustafa, Ali Murtaza, and through them, Aimai Tyreen, and through Aimai Tyreen to the Sabiqun, the Mominun, and inshallah through them to Garib and Nachis like us. A lamp can be lit. And why the example of a lamp? Because lamp, you can light another lamp where you will not find this attribution in the sun. The second reason for using the word lamp was that with one lamp on the high, the Nur equally can be brought in the house where light is needed. And equally, it will shade on everyone inside their home. The light does not discriminate that because the Kasam Bhai brought the light, I'm only going to shine on him. Whomever joins this example of the person in his home, whomever would come inside his home as we entered into the city of the Rasul and the house of the wisdom of the Ali, the light equally was upon us because we entered when they called us into the city of knowledge and house of wisdom. We entered. So then light does not discriminate. Light shines on everyone who are inside of their home. Whomever are with Panchtane Pak, are you with Panchtane Pak? Are you within the house of Ali, the house of wisdom? Then you will see the light, the Nur, the book, the guidance will shine and will be equally given the guidance to you if you are there. And for what reason? So we may find the perfect man, the Ulil Amr, who is amongst us. Because in the darkness, that would not be possible. Only with the light and the understanding of the guidance, we will be able to find the Arife Kamil Zaman, the perfect man, the one who has been selected, chosen by Allah Himself from the Ale Nabi Olade Ali, from the progeny of the Ibrahim and Imran, to guide and to share and to give the light, the Nur, Hidayat, and the guidance to the humanity by the Amre Ilahi. And he is Imam Mubin, the manifested, living and present Imam, the most perfect man. Another reference, is it possible that your home, your heart, and you are chosen for this service? You are chosen to receive this light, and you are chosen to give this light to other? Is it possible? Let's ask Quran. Because Quran is the most perfect book in which Allah has guided whomever wish to be guided. If you are, then this is the ayat for you. Surah 10, ayat number 87. Allah says, and we inspired to Moses, Musa, and his brother Aaron, Harun, to do what? To select houses for your people. Turn those houses into the places of worship. The word you will find there, Qibla. Establish prayer and give good news to the believers. If this was the command to one prophet and one asas after him, would there not be the same command to all of the other natiqeen and asasan with them? Or was this one unique, very limited command at the time of Musa? And this was not commanded or permitted at the time of Sazarul Anbiya, the greatest of the great. Muhammad himself, Salawatullah alayhi. The example was used of the Musa and Harun, and the command was to the Muhammad and Mustafa, the Rasul of the time, to choose amongst the people close to you and their homes and make them first and then their homes. And we don't have to understand this on our own. We can take another example from the Quran itself, where Allah commands to the people that only and only come stand in the place of Ibrahim to worship. Only the place of Ibrahim. Now can it be possible for 1.2 billion Muslims to gather at the place of Ibrahim and stand there in their 4 by 4, 6 by 6, 10 by 10 room of Ibrahim, all billion of us, to stand there every day and offer our prayers? What was the place of Ibrahim? The place of Ibrahim is their home and the body. The home and the body. Where Allah has commanded and given the light and the guidance. the righteous. So come to the place of those who are righteous, like Ibrahim, and establish prayer and give them good news if they believe. Give them good news if they believe. So in the Tawil of this, Allama Sahib in his book Thousand Wisdom writes, it is mentioned in verse above 1087, and we revealed to Musa and his brother, provide houses for your people in Misr, meaning the city or the personal world within themselves, and make your houses Qibla, make your houses within yourself a place of Allah, the Qibla, the place of worship. Then give them the status of the house of God by enhancing them spiritually, and establish prayer and give glad tidings to the believers, whomever believes. The wisdom-filled allusion of this is that God has commanded our Prophet and the Asas Ali of the time to prepare Betul Khayal, Betul Khayal, the luminous house of Khayal in the hearts of the believers, Momin. So where do we find these houses? Within the righteous and around the righteous. Just like Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Panchtan Pak, the household of him. That is where you will find the Nur and the house of Allah. Let's see, is there any reference to that one who is walking amongst us with the Nur, the light of Allah? And is it even possible? Allah says in Surah 6, ayat 122, to know that the ignorant are like the dead, but that whoever moves from ignorance to knowledge, to the light, is like a dead man who comes back to life. To know that light truly is belief, that doubt and the shadows are undeniably ignorance and error. Such are the signs of those who follow the house of the Prophet. God says, is the one who was dead and to whom we gave life and appointed for him a nur by which he could walk among the people like the one whose likeness is in darkness from which he cannot emerge. Just think about it. There are two kinds of people. The ignorant, the one in the darkness. And their example is the example of dead walking. And then those who are in the house of the Prophet and the around the household of Fanchtene Park. God says that He is the one, because He entered the house of God, the house of Fanchtene Park, He brought them from dead to life. And now He walks amongst you with that Nur. Compare that to those who never ever enter the house of God, house of Pashtane Park, house of the light. Can they be the same? Can dead and alive be same? The one with the light and one without the light be the same? Allah has question. Thus, those who have not believed and did not follow the light and the book, the Nur and the guide, which came with Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus, what they have been doing has been made to seem fair to unbelievers. Those who do not believe in the Nur and the book, the guidance and the Imam. You know what Allah does? He makes them believe that, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're right. If this is what you believe that darkness, that ignorance is good for you, then be happy with that. Because you do not want to enter into the light, into the house, and you are happy playing outside without the light and without the guidance, then Allah made to seem for them, for the disbelievers, that that's fair. If this is what you want, and remember, Allah is Qadir and Mutallaq. You have a free will today to do so, but tomorrow you will see how He had continues to guide you with the light, and you were the one who had chosen to stay in the darkness. Or after having the light, you blew that Nur with your false, ignorant argument and blow that lamp, the light out. And now you are stuck in that darkness. In the Tawil of that verse, 6:122, Sayyidina Pir Nasir Khusro says, from this verse, it is evident that the believers are living as they have the Nur and the guidance, and that they move amongst people by the light of knowledge, while the ignorant in their darkness are unknowing. They don't even know what they are missing. Moreover, it is evident that coming back to life after that is the true promise God the Exalted has made to people. Allah wants to give you life and the Nur to guide you. And that is His promise. And that the resurrection, which is mentioned in this verse, is certain truth. it is truth itself. Therefore, that person who resurrection, God the Exalted has mentioned in this verse, is not dead, rather he is alive. We thought the resurrection, the Qiyamah, the mutu kabla antamutu, those who died in the way of Allah, we thought they were dead. He writes, no, actually they are not dead. Rather, he is alive. And this coming back to life pertains to all people. It's not limited to the family of Muhammad and the Ahl Bayt, the Ali. It is open to all, because that is the promise of Allah to guide the humanity as a whole, if we choose to be guided. It is our purpose to show that God's resurrection of people after death means bringing them out of ignorance into the knowledge, the light. And let me stop here. I believe with all of these proofs, Dalail, we would have understood what is the example of the lamp, the light, and that is the Nur, and what is the example of the house which is pure, and the house within ourselves. There is a famous saying that you cannot encompass God in the entire universe, but you can encompass and fit God on the heart of the Momin. So whomever have taken Allah in his heart is the house of the God, because that is where you will find Allah. Inshallah ta'ala, let me stop here. Then if there are comments or questions, we will continue. Ji.
Thank you, Aziz sir. Very interesting verses and explanation here about light. And I particularly enjoyed the last few minutes we had here about talking about death and like what is the true death and what is the resurrection and what are all these words or teachings referring to in Ismailism in particular, when we speak about, or when our Dai spoke about the resurrection, and going back to Quran every time it looks like we see these words now about the one who was dead, the one who is alive, or what the light is, and what the concept of resurrection is. It's very interesting. I think now we see also that there's like it's different, from the way the Ismailis should understand, and that makes sense. If we're a little Tawil, if we're the Batiniyun, then our understanding of the word resurrection should be very different, and our understanding of life and death should be very different from what any common Fulan would mention or understand about death and resurrection. So I'm hoping we'll get some discussion on these things in the chat, giving some time for some people to have their questions related to today's session. One interesting thing while we're looking for questions is, so on this very same slide that you have up, I was contemplating as I was reading it when it says that what they have done is made seem, Quran 6:1-22. Thus, what they have been doing has been made to seem fair to the unbelievers. And I think, of course, the first aspect could be basically people's habits that they do when they're not in a state of, in a spiritually resurrected state, meaning they're still in the darkness. But all that, basic aspects of life, the mundane life things we do, makes us feel like, oh, this is fine. What's wrong with this? I'm just enjoying my life. And that has one aspect of the discussion. Another part, but specific that I was thinking about was, since we're talking about knowledge here, and you've also stressed many times in our sessions that we have to be very careful as Ismailis what type of knowledge we're taking, especially when it comes to the matters of hakikat or religion. If it's a matters of the secular world and science, of course we can take knowledge from anywhere. From good, from, well, even there we say we should find the good sources of knowledge, not just any science that we find on online sometimes, but particularly for hakikati knowledge, it tells you to be very careful of where you get your knowledge from. And this part makes me feel like there could be an indication that when we take knowledge from somebody, we might think, or some people might think, well, this knowledge seems good to us. What's wrong with this knowledge? It seems nice. But do we know if the author or the writer, especially in Hakikati matters, have they had their illumination? Are they dead? Are they alive? Are they spiritually resurrected? If not, then what they've been doing, meaning what the teachings they're saying, it might seem fair to the unbelievers because just like them, they're also in the dark. So we should be very careful of whose knowledge we're accepting because we might be accepting more darkness, thinking it sounds like knowledge, but actually it's just information and not even
That's why,
information. Yeah.
yeah,
But
that's why, Imam have talked about that. Whom can you take the knowledge from? And who can teach? It's not a new Farman, it's very old Farman. Only those who are complete in the knowledge can teach. Neem Hakim Khatrai Jan. Those who have incomplete ilm can be dangerous for our soul and our beliefs. And then Mullah goes further in that Farman. Not only they must have complete knowledge, but also some spiritual understanding. So condition was put. And that is very important that we look at the source of the knowledge. Is it source of the knowledge coming from the living with the Amr of the Imam, or is it coming from some other places unknown to us? Then we have to be careful about that. G.
so there's no questions yet in the chat. Perhaps everything's very clear. Maybe since we have some time, Adisar, do you think you could go back and maybe explain a little bit more about the houses being Qibla when it says that we asked Moses and Harun to appoint houses? So this seems to indicate that it is the Prophet who decides what house is a Qibla, and why is there multiple houses of Qibla? Normally we would think of one house being Qibla, where the direction everyone turns to towards prayer. But what is the understanding in this verse?
G.
How do we understand it? Yes.
Yeah, so that is true. The houses of Qibla. So first of all, remember that this is all about a living house of God. The example was Ibrahim. He was the living house of God. So we were supposed to stand with him to the house of God. The living house of God are Aimai Tyrene themselves first. And through them, they are the only one. They are the only one who can choose the house of God to pray within. I thought I had a slide on that where Allah says in the very same surah, number 10, that do not stand in the house which were built without the permission and was built on the ignorance, but stand in the house which was built with the righteous, with the permission of Allah. Meaning, if you look at all the way back to the time of Prophet Muhammad, could anyone build a masjid? No, only with the permission of the Prophet. And then after the Prophet, only with the permission of the Imam of the time. Can we build a Jamaat Khana without it? That tells us that Imam has the complete authority to select the Momin and select the houses and select the places of worship. Do not put your feet, Allah says, do not put your feet in the place of worship which was established without the permission, which was not established on the righteous. Do not put your feet in that. If you go to one of those places of worship which was not built on the thought of the righteous, with the permission of Allah, His Prophet, and His Aimai Tyreen selected, then those are the places which you should not put your feet in or pray within. I thought I had this slide. Let me see if I can find it for you. G.